Sidebar Cantina, the podcast where we talk about Star Wars, pop culture, influential black comedians on Martin Luther King Day, or whatever the fuck we feel like talking about. I am Mr. Jason Roscom. With me here each and every single week, the Rick James to my Charlie Murphy, Dave Martin.
Charlie Murphy!
How are you?
I'm well.
Good.
I'm here on time.
So yes, we are recording this on Dr. Martin Luther King Day.
Yes, we are.
And did you see the fucking statue that they unveiled in Boston?
No.
Oh my God. So
bring it up.
Like, I get the intent, right? The intent was it was supposed to commemorate this embrace he had with some other important leader, like a picture that was taken of them embracing, and it was supposed to commemorate that. What ended up coming out of that was
oh no.
Probably not what was intended. So
oh dear.
MLK Boston statue. Look at that. It auto-filled. Okay, let's just pull up some images. Now I'll bring it up here, and I'm even going to share.
What the fuck is that?
I'm going to share my screen with the YouTube audience, audio listeners.
That looks like somebody's eating ass.
People have compared this to so many different things. So let me just share this real quick. Add it to the stream.
Dear sweet Lord. Some
people say it looks like somebody, like this one right here in particular, it looks like somebody's holding Shaq's dong. Yeah. So did not quite come off as expected.
Wow.
It's pretty brutal.
At what point? Because they had to have made a model of it, right? So like, so here's this model. They're sitting in the mayor's office, and they're like, okay, so we're getting ready to spend like how much money? $2 million.
Oh, probably millions. Yeah.
We're gonna spend a couple $1 million on this. Here's the model of it, and you're looking at it and going, I wonder what that's gonna look like. 100 times as big as this right now. Do you think it'll look weird?
Yeah.
Like, no, it's the embrace. People will be able to walk underneath it and feel the loving embrace of this end of racism. And instead, from depending on which angle you're looking at, it definitely, when you first brought it up, it looked like somebody was like grabbing somebody and eating their ass out.
Yeah.
That's just horrific.
Yeah, so I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. Maybe they can make some alterations to it over the years to make it a little more
stand by.
Normal.
Stand by. Apparently there's a volume issue.
Uh-oh.
Speaker's at 100% and it's still quiet.
Fuck. So... how about now?
Well, don't yell. You increased the volume and then you pushed it up.
All right.
So how's it sound now? Does it sound better now?
Yeah, I didn't hear anybody. Okay, we had one person.
No, there's a handful of them. Sean Badia, Scott.
Scariff After Dark. Hears us perfectly. All right, we're going to go with this. If you hear any more sound issues, please let us know. Sorry.
The statue looks fine from certain angles. Like, from where? Like 30,000 feet?
Yeah.
I mean...
I just had to bring that up, though, because that was the funniest shit I've seen this week.
I almost want to go to Boston just to see it.
I know, right? Get a picture under it, but kind of like shrugging your shoulders, like, huh?
Like, yeah, look, it's yeah.
So, but we're not here to talk about botched statues. What are we talking about today?
We're not here to talk about botched statues.
No.
I feel like we're here to talk about Rick James and
Chappelle Show.
Woo-hoo-hoo. Really, we're here to talk about we're going to talk about a couple episodes of Chappelle, but really it's just the buttering of the pan to heat up the pizza that is Rick James.
Yes.
That's a horrible. I don't know how that was just terrible lead in.
But yeah, no, we're covering the first 4 episodes of season 2. We went through season 1. We got through it. Now we're on to season 2, the real meat of Chappelle's show. Like, there were some good sketches in season 1, but most people will agree that season 2 had
Yes.
the best shit. Culminating in episode 4 that we're going to talk about
Yes.
today, the infamous Rick James episode. So before we get into all that, though, we have some other business to take care of.
Do we?
Yes, we do. Should we talk about Patreon? Sorry, I got distracted by the chat. Sean Batty is talking about, did Dave Chappelle really reprise his role on SNL?
Really?
Huh, yeah.
I would love to. I wish I had seen that.
Well, the problem with that is SNL hasn't actually been funny in years, so
Right.
nobody watches it anymore.
Yeah.
But now that I know that sketch exists, I will have to go back and look. Anyway, should we talk about Patreon?
You talk about Patreon.
All right. Well, we would like to give a huge shout out to all of our current patrons: Lord Helmet Fire, my wonderful mother-in-law Patricia Goodstein, Ivo G, Dragon Buddy, Wally Frogmore, Frank Kalevich, Kristen Roscom, Frederick Martin, Don Solsky, Catherine Rennick, David Schmuck, Scott and Kim from the Use and Abuse podcast, Nicholas Schaefer, Nick from Sweet Studios, and Shotgun Mark. If you'd like to consider becoming a Patreon supporter, you can find us at patreon.com/the Sidebar Cantina. Thank you again to all of our listeners and supporters. You are the reason why we do this. David?
Who? Where?
You. Oh,
Oh.
he's building Legos over here. He's
Well,
not
you
even
were
paying
doing
attention
your
to the fucking
read.
show.
Oh,
Building Legos on our goddamn time, on our listeners' time. How
your
dare you.
Legos, damn it.
Well, that is true.
How dare you?
How dare you?
All right. You got some Red 5 news?
Well, see, Luna Girl is on a well-needed sabbatical
true, yeah.
because she is taking care of her family.
Correct, as she should.
So the notes are probably pretty generic, but I'm going to read them anyway.
Okay.
The Red 5 BioLink has been revamped as of last week.
Yes.
Wait a minute. Last week, what's today? The 16th,
C.
3 p.m. So minus 7,
Mm-hmm.
that's 9,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That was the day after. What day was I super late?
That was 2 weeks ago
That was 2 weeks ago.
when we did the music of 95.
95. So what did we do last week?
Last week was well, let me look at
Bad
my-
Batch? We did
Yes,
Bad Batch last
Batch.
week.
Jesus.
Yeah.
We're professionals, folks.
Jeez, we're also fucking veterans with
Severe mental disorders.
severe memory issues.
Yeah.
So last week the Red 5 BioLink has been revamped. Extra Techie and Luna Grow have been updating the link with a better way to find your favorite podcast. Go check it out. Go to bio.link/Red5 and click on the Sidebar Cantina. Also, you will find that inactive pods have been archived at the bottom. Want a podcast suggestion? Hit up Luna Girl on her Sidebar Twitter or Instagram DMs. She will be able to match you with a podcast you will absolutely love. More on Red 5 after the show.
Alrighty. I didn't put this in the notes, but I did want to mention anybody who's watching, big Star Wars fans out there, that The Mandalorian has a new trailer that's popping tonight. Apparently, it's going to be at halftime of the football game.
Word.
So if you're not a fan of football, but you still want to see the new Mando trailer, I would imagine it's going to pop on YouTube right after it debuts on during the football game. So probably around, I'd say 9:30, 10 p.m.-ish Eastern time, roughly. So new Mando Season 3 trailer. Very exciting. Looking forward to that.
Hell yeah.
So do we want to get into our weeks?
Yes.
All right. Well, as always, I have a new addition to
Sacred Jedi.
And if you see, I actually have a hole right there. This is again-
lots of holes.
This specifically this hole I'm pointing to, again, only for the YouTube audience.
Oh, yeah.
Because I made room for the second sister Inquisitor,
Whoa.
finishing my Inquisitor set. So I have all 4 Inquisitors that they have made so far as Black Series figures. 3 of which come from the Obi-Wan show. This one is from the video game. I thought that they'd have more Inquisitor figures out there, but they don't at this point. I did a search on a couple of different websites, and yeah, it was only these 4 so far.
She's carbonized with Kung Fu grip.
Yeah, now this is the carbonized version. There's 2 versions of this second sister. I got the carbonized one because it was actually cheaper for some reason.
Huh.
So, but yes, I now have all 4 Inquisitors that they've made so far. We're sure to get more down the line.
Surely we'll have more.
And she's got a spot waiting for her, right?
As Jason pulls the headphones straight off of his head.
Yep. So, I talked about last week how I was playing a game, The Dungeon of Nahalbek.
Yes.
I actually finished that game.
That's what those initials stand for.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, it was a super fun game. Again, if you're into tactical RPGs at all and you're into humorous potty humor, the Dungeon of Nahalbek is for you. And I finished it. It was really fun, and I was sitting here thinking like, I should do like a game review, like a YouTube video on our channel, like some sort of like video game review for it. But then I'm like, fuck, that's gonna take a lot of work, and I'm gonna get started, and I'm not gonna want to finish it, and so I get these delusions of grandeur. I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I'll do some extra stuff on our YouTube channel, and then I'm like, no, I just don't have fucking time.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah. So the next game that I'm playing, though, is I've started Divinity Original Sin, which is supposed to be a fantastic role-playing game. So that's what I'm playing next. I'll keep everybody updated. Outside of that, all I have to say is Niners, baby. I'll keep this quick, but the Niners won their game. Brock Purdy, he's the second coming, man. He's the next Tom Brady. Probably not, but but it's been a hell of a story. I'm really looking forward to next week's game. I'm curious to see who they're going to play. They're playing the winner of tonight's game, but it's been a good season for both of us, and that's the cool thing. The fact that both of our teams are the 2 best teams in the NFC. So
yeah,
and hopefully.
3PO. Oh no, I heard C.
Hopefully they play each other in the NFC Championship, and then we'll have a ton of shit to talk.
Yeah.
So, but that's really been my week. Very short, sweet, to the point. What about you?
Mine is not sweet, short, and to the point.
All right. Well, what you got?
All right. So, since I was here last week, I probably talked about how I saw Hugh Jackman in Music Man.
Yep. Yeah, we
All
need
right.
to talk about that.
So, this week, because we were supposed to see Jagged Little Pill, right, in Philly. It's the
So what is it? Just like a musical version of the album, or what?
I'm gonna get to it.
Okay.
So we were supposed to see it. We were scheduled to see it at the same time as Music Man. We rescheduled it to Saturday or Sunday rather.
Mm-hmm.
Ended up costing a little bit extra money. We got a little better seats, which we were super happy with the seats. We're thinking about changing our season tickets to the seats we were in.
Okay.
Because it was nice to not have to take the fucking stairs.
Yeah.
But so we get there. Music Man was amazing, by the way. You know, listen to last week's episode, and I'm sure I gushed about how Hugh Jackman
and yeah, you were like
was just
licking his balls, basically.
Yes, dipping them in sweet and sour sauce. It was
I don't think they were here for that.
They weren't. They were not here for that. And maybe it'll come up later.
Okay.
We'll see if Vickers, Lord Helmetfire, comes into the chat. But
yeah.
So my expectation for this musical was that we were going to basically get a biography of Alanis Morissette, you know, to talk about this breakthrough album, you know, and how popular it was.
That we just talked about a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and you know, kind of what was going on in the world at the time, you know, and it was going to be like a 90s thing.
Yeah.
I even like dressed up a little bit. I put on a flannel. Right, I had a flannel,
like a grunge outfit.
Yeah, I put on a flannel and I put on my sambas, you know, because that's what I was wearing in the fucking 90s. And,
Nice.
And you know, I'm like, oh man, there'll be lots of 90s people there and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so we get there and we're like, oh, these seats are nice. And
You really talk like that?
Oh yeah. They were that nice.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, so it starts, and it starts with some interpretive dance.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Not exactly what I think when I think Alanis Morissette's
Right.
Jagged Little Pill.
Me either.
Okay.
So it starts with some interpretive dance, and it's really loud. Like, so the Academy of Music is a theater that was built in like 1850.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they had the setup was with a small rock band with some like some violins and stuff,
Okay.
and it had it on the stage but elevated. So you have the stage like here proper, and then it had like this elevation, and then they had the band up on the stage, but they had like the full like speaker setup, so the speakers were going into the crowd.
Right.
This theater is not designed for a rock concert.
Yeah,
right?
you'd probably get way too much sound in there. Like,
It was so fucking loud, and this show had been going on for like 2 weeks.
yeah.
And the fact that they hadn't figured out the fucking sound yet is dumbfounding to me.
Mm.
But either they're just oblivious to it, or just it was impossible to get right. But so it was way too loud. I'm like, fuck, I'm so old. It's okay. It's probably just the seats, because we have our season tickets. We sit in our usual seats.
Yeah.
Sounds so fucking highfalutin. It's really not. But
we're going to the theater in
Yes.
Philadelphia.
Yes, we're going to the
in the
theater.
old building that was built in 1850
yes, yeah,
to watch Jagged Little Pill.
yeah, jagged little pill. So, all right, interpretive dance. We're like, okay, and then it starts off with it's this suburban mom, like blogging.
Again, not what I think of when I
Right.
think of Alanis Morissette's
Right.
Jagged Little Pill.
So, here, if you want to peruse,
Oh,
I brought the playbill.
okay, all right.
So, what the story is, it is about a modern day family with a mother who is, spoiler alert, a mother who is basically has an addiction to painkillers from a car accident she was in.
Mm-hmm.
A husband who's works in a law firm. It's the family with the McMansion. He's in the law firm, and they makes a bunch of money, but he has to work long hours. And so he's kind of out of pocket. They got a son who's going to Harvard on a scholarship. And like all this stuff,
as everybody has.
right? And then they have an adopted African American daughter,
Mm-hmm.
right? Who's who's kind of the troublemaker, and
That's racist.
it is.
Yeah.
So it is. So okay, so we have this. This is this family, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, and nowhere. I'm looking through the playbill, and nowhere does it say like, oh, this is Alanis Morissette. Like, no. This is not a play about Alanis Morissette.
Right.
It is not. This is a play about a fucking modern family with issues, like the fucking it's about the daughter, the adopted daughter, who's she's like finding her sexual identity, but then like, so she's into girls, but then kind of gets into a guy, and there's like all this drama there with the she has a girlfriend, and this whole thing, and then it gets to a point, the moms, they won't refill her pain meds, and now she has to go to a drug dealer, so it has to deal with that bullshit.
I mean, weed's legal at this point. She could have just gone.
It's like a whole oxy thing. So she's given, and it's in Connecticut.
Yeah.
I don't know what the status of weed in Connecticut is. I'm sure it's still illegal, but the father, like, she just keeps pushing him away. So he's like, he apparently has some porn addiction that comes up in conversation. Yeah. Meanwhile,
Okay.
musical, Jagged Little Pill, Alanis Morissette, right? This is what we go in for. Not anything. So You know, and then let's sprinkle in a little like, oh, we're going to sing the lyrics of the song kind of with what's going on here.
But that's not what any of those songs are about.
Right.
I've listened to that album 100 fucking times, and I
Right.
can tell you, nowhere in there does it talk about her dad's porn addiction.
Right.
Or, you know.
It doesn't apply to what's going on in modern, like the present day. So the son, the golden child, like goes to a party and, you know, tastes the alcohol for the first time, and you know, apparently he witnesses this other rich kid rape a girl, right? Doesn't tell anybody about it. So then the daughter and her girlfriend go in and talk to the girl who got raped, and then they say like, well, you have to go to police, and then she goes to police, and then like there's Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
notice that none of this has anything to do with fucking the 90s or like, so
It's ironic, isn't it? Isn't it ironic that
there was they did that song, and they had the daughter doing it as like a poetry reading in a classroom, and what was funny, they stopped her. Like when she was saying it's ironic, and the kid in the class was like, "No, it's not." Like, it was actually pretty funny. It had a little kind of like quick quips of humor, but the singing was way too loud. It's like they were trying to scream over each other. Yeah. And oh, by the way, let's sprinkle this interpretive dance in the middle of it. Like if there was a little bit of emotion happening, like, oh, look at this drama. You get like people like all like twisting and turning in between the other characters, and
maybe you're supposed to be really high when you go in.
Dude, it is not. It is not. It has nothing to do with with Alanis Morissette. I guess if I had done a modicum of research, I would have looked at it and gone like, this has nothing like, but we didn't. We went into it thinking like, oh, this is going to be like, because Kathy and Hazel, I didn't go because I didn't want to. Like they went to Tina Turner. It was a whole Tina Turner thing, you know. And the Whitney Houston movie's out right now. It's all biographical, right? So, kind of thinking the same thing, especially with the, you know, the anniversary and all this other bullshit. Nope, nothing. Not even fucking close. So, get to halftime. All right, we're at the intermission. They're on the stage screaming, like it's like the Muppets, like this is a Muppet show, right?
Jesus Christ.
They're out trying to outscream each other. Curtain drops. I'm like, I need a soda and some candy. That was the Swedish fish I was finishing earlier.
Nice.
So before I said that, I like stand up and I look at Kathy and she looks at me and we're like, well. Yeah. And then I'm like, I'm gonna go get a snack. Do you want anything? He's like, no. I'm like, okay. So I'm standing there in line going like, I don't know if I could fucking sit through the rest of this. But I'm like, if she was into it, you know, it's fine. I'll sit through it, whatever. Because usually what happens is if I'm in a show that I don't like, I'll like entertain myself with like the blocking, you know, from because I you know, doing theater stuff you know, myself, you start looking at like where the people are positioned, like how they're moving the set pieces, like where the, you know, catching their blocking and
like
and doing
sort of the behind the scenes sort of.
Yeah. So I'm looking at all that stuff, but even with this show, I couldn't because they're screaming. It's So I get back from, you know, the thing is just getting ready to come back on. And I said, listen, if at any point, you know, we get, you know, you just are ready to go, I support that.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, what about right now? I'm like, yeah, we can go right now. So we did. We left.
Nice. So
we didn't wait for the fucking second act.
Wow.
There were very talented. There was some very talented actors, and I would never besmirch the talent that's performing the show.
Sure.
But it is this like I it's not what I thought it was going to be.
You would not
So,
recommend.
Do your research. Do your research, folks. If you want to go and be depressed about what the Modern Family is, and I guarantee you, I know how it ends. Like it was setting itself up, and this was not good.
Yeah.
Especially coming from seeing The Music Man on Broadway with fucking Hugh Jackman, and everything was fucking perfect and great and everything, and then coming and seeing that. We weren't into it.
You're becoming quite the connoisseur of the theater arts.
We used to have, we've had subscriptions for years.
Yeah.
We've kind of gone off and on. But yeah, it's something to do.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, it's an excuse to go out.
Yeah.
So on
Something to do together.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, hey, we prepay for this. It's just like having season tickets to the Phillies game.
Yeah.
And we only go on Sundays. So it's like, oh, hey, we have a date. It's an automatic date, you know, that's on the calendar. So we go and do it. And it's the same thing with this. But yeah, not every show is a winner. I'm so glad, because we'd offered you guys the tickets.
Yeah.
And it ended up not working out, and that was the best possible thing that could have happened. You wouldn't have made it through the first fucking 10 minutes of this thing.
You don't think so?
No, fuck no.
Oh, wow.
God, no. Oh, Jason, it was oof. It was not just about like, hey, we're preaching a message here. It was about screaming the message and then sprinkling in some Alanis Morissette songs.
Right. Which could then taint those songs for any future listening.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, it wasn't.
Yeah, I was thinking some sort of like autobiographical thing where, you know, she blows Dave Coulier in a movie theater, and then she gets dumped and she's like all pissed off, and
she's on Dogma, and like,
you know, like
nothing. Nothing. So again, do your research before you go to a show. But yeah, good advice that you just couldn't take. Yes, that is a good one. So anyway, I had a grad school started.
Oh yes.
So I'm in biomechanics.
The dreaded masters.
I am. I don't know why I do this to myself, Jason.
I've already preached this over and over. I don't need to repeat myself. You know how I feel.
It's fucking fascinating, though. It's really fascinating.
Yeah.
But it has definitely skewed my I don't even know what to call it, but like a discussion we were having earlier about the unfortunate plane crash that happened in Nepal. And you know, the video and everything is horrific. It's absolutely horrific. And as somebody who's, between the two of us, has spent probably close to 10,000 hours of fucking...
Oh, easily, between the two of us. Yeah,
in the air. And it's like, the idea that something like that could happen is the stuff of our nightmares.
Yeah. And they were like on approach too. Like they were almost down and then just...
So there's that. But then there's the other half of me that's looking at it and I see a video of it. I'm like, oh, good. There's a nice external video. I can see, like,
from an investigation standpoint.
Right. I can see the engine fire, and like the video inside. I'm like, oh my God, this is a view that you don't usually get to see.
Yeah, and that's why I texted you earlier today. I'm like, I don't know if I've ever seen a video like this in my life. You know, we've dealt with a lot of crash investigations and seen a lot of crash videos and seen stories and all that, but never from inside the plane as it fucking happens.
Yeah, not like that. You know, and it'll be, like I said when we were texting, it'll make the discussion boards very interesting.
Yeah. I'm sure there's all kinds of people that just like throw out their own theories and that's analysis, and
I don't know a lot about that airframe. Honestly, until today, we were talking about it this morning, and I hadn't looked at the video yet, so I didn't have time to really process and make any analysis. And then after you had basically told me. You were like the fourth person to tell me about it. I'm like, fuck it. All right, now I gotta watch the goddamn thing. So, yeah, it's it's fascinating. It really is, and it's challenging, and that's probably exactly what I need.
Mm-hmm.
But goddamn, it's hard. It's so hard. It's so much harder than I thought it would be. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, my old boss just messaged me.
Oh.
So yeah, so it begins. Otherwise known as self-flagellation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not flatulation. Flagellation.
Yes.
Flatulation is
There's
something completely different.
Big difference.
It is. Well, I mean, it could. Yeah, it depends. So I put in the notes I need a backiotomy. Need a backiotomy.
Mm-hmm.
Which Chappelle was that on?
Oh God. What that was a stand-up, wasn't it?
I think it might have been. It might have been.
I don't think that was even in one of the shows.
Doctor says I need a backiotomy. Yeah, I helped John. The friend of the podcast, the John. I helped him move, and yeah, I think by the end, between the two of us, we were just like, the last couple of things might have weighed like an ounce and a half, and they felt like 500 pounds. It's like, oh God.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's on his way, and yeah, so I definitely I am not a young man anymore.
None of us are.
The recovery is not. It is long and painful.
What day was this that you were doing this?
A bunch of days last week.
Okay.
I was cutting out of work early.
Okay.
I was taking sick time
Mm.
to go do it. That's the nice thing. I have a lot of sick time,
Yeah.
so not a lot of time off, but regular time. But I have a lot of sick time, so
That's
I've been burning that. So then I just gotta compress all the work I need to do fucking into a shorter schedule and show up to work a little earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But it is what it is. It's worth it. That's what you do.
Yep.
So yeah, my body is just not good. But then I go today, right? I was like, well, all right. So what am I going to do today? It's a day off, right? It's a
For
3
you,
day.
yeah. I had to work, but
it was
yeah.
3 day government weekend.
Yep.
So what are we going to do? Well, the Lord Helmet Fire and I were chatting early in the weekend. We're like, oh, we should do like a sunrise photography thing here soon. I'm like, well, I'm off on Monday. I think this was Thursday. We're having this conversation. I was like, well, I'm off on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we do it then? He had to work also.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have to work till 9, and sunrise is like 7:30.
Yeah.
So we're like, all right, let's do it. So I got up at 3:45.
God damn.
Yeah, because I had to drive to Pembroke.
God damn.
Yeah,
Roar. We'll get there.
I had to drive to his place, and then we picked up another buddy, and then the three of us drove down to Brigantine, and it was fucking cold.
Mm.
It was fucking cold.
Yeah.
It was cold. It was windy. Yeah, but it was nice. I got
your pictures.
I got a couple really nice pictures that I'm really happy with, and that's worth it. It was a good time. It was a good time just to get out and do something. And the nice thing about doing something super early is like I was still on timing to get back. I got my hair cut. I got my car washed. I didn't make it to Costco. Just didn't work out. But then I came back and I started cleaning out my shed.
Mm.
And again, my body was like, why are we picking shit up right now?
Right.
Stop it. Stop moving things.
And then you came over here and built a shelf.
And then I came over here and built a shelf. So I'm probably going to run out of energy about the same time you are tonight.
Okay. Well, that's good. It's good that we have a hard stop time then.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that was my week.
All right. Do you need a break or anything before we get into the main topic?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, let's talk some Chappelle Show Season 2.
Woohoo! Woohoo!
Part 1. And yeah, we're going through the first.
Start the show.
We're going through the first 4 episodes of season 2, which culminate in the infamous Rick James episode.
Yes.
But we'll talk about that at the end. We'll try to get through some of these other episodes quickly because that's where the real meat is
Right.
in the Rick James episode.
Right.
So we know that's what everybody wants to hear. But I mean, first of all, let's talk about what we were doing at this time, because this aired early 2004. So January 21st, 2004 was when the first episode of season 2 aired, and it was every single week after that for the next 3 months. And I was actually watching Chappelle's show at this point. Season 1 had ended, and I had heard that it was funny, and I had started catching reruns and everything, because this is back when I used to actually watch TV. We had a TiVo back then. So if you remember TiVo,
Wow.
back in the day, like the first DVR, we had gotten a TiVo and we were recording the shit out of everything. And I had started hearing about Chappelle's show. So I watched parts of season 1 as season 2 was getting to ramp up, because Comedy Central was really advertising the shit out of season 2. I remember seeing the one where he was Tiger Woods going, "I've always wanted to say this
Yeah.
for shizzle."
For shizzle.
You know,
The big teeth in there.
they were playing that over and over on a loop. I'm like, all right, so this season 2 looks pretty good. So I was watching season 2 before the Rick James episode.
Right.
So, you know, I was watching Chappelle back when he was underground, you know.
Right.
Yeah, but we had the TiVo, and, you know, I'd record it at night and watch it the next day. And, yeah, so that's how we were watching this back in the day. Now, what about you? Were you aware of it? Were you watching it
So
at this point?
Yeah. It was because in the squadron it was something.
Yeah,
that-
because you were already flying
Right.
for the squadron where you and I met. I wasn't there yet.
right. So it was already a thing in the squadron. Like you couldn't it was already, we were quoting it, we were watching it. It
Mhm.
was all over the place. So there was no avoiding it. Yeah. It only got worse once the DVDs came out. Like once the DVDs came out, it was like it went to 11.
Right. Which, speaking of, glad you brought that up. The one of our folks in the chat, Sean Badia, mentioned that the Chappelle Show didn't get a DVD release in the UK for many, many years after it ended. Whereas I think the first season was out on DVD right after the first season ended. And then obviously with season 2, they immediately pushed that.
Oh yeah.
In fact, I think they did that in parts. I think they were putting out DVDs of season 2 before it was even fully aired.
Yeah, I think I remember that, something like that, because it's even if I don't have the videos with me, or the DVDs with me, but I think I remember it being like that. Like you bought the way the sets are, like you bought them different.
Yeah. All right. I'm still seeing people in the chat saying that we sound very quiet.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. Oh shit. Krista was texting me. She said it's normal for her, but some people are saying it's quiet.
Huh.
Turn our mic volume up. All right. Well, I'll crank it up again.
I mean, it's loud as shit in our headphones. Right
Yeah.
now.
So I don't know. I don't know where the issues are coming from. The good news is it should sound perfectly fine for the audio listeners. For the
Right.
YouTube listeners, sorry, bro.
Might be ass out.
Yeah. So, all right. So we were all very familiar with Chappelle's Show at this point. So rolling into season 2, the first episode, the first sketch in the first episode is great.
Sketch, bitch.
Because it starts off with the Samuel Jackson beer. You know, it's 3 white guys sitting at a table, one of which is Bill Burr.
Right.
And Kristen even mentioned that because I guess it's been a while since she's seen any of these, and she didn't even remember some of them. And she's like, "Oh my God, is that Bill Burr?" I'm like, "Yeah, he's in a lot of Chappelle's Show." So yeah, they're sitting at a bar, and this is of course a parody of a commercial that was big at the time. This is one of the problems I noticed watching these episodes. A lot of these jokes are dated, and it's a lot of dated references where if you weren't watching TV at the time, you wouldn't get the parody.
Yeah, you wouldn't have gotten. Like,
Yeah.
you just wouldn't have gotten it.
Yeah, now this sketch really stands on its own anyway. It's pretty good. But yes, it was a parody of the Samuel Adams commercial.
Right.
Right? Which was fucking ridiculous. I watched it on YouTube today, that original Samuel Adams, and it was, oh my God, like it's 4 guys sitting at a table, and, you know, one guy's like, "I'll have a Samuel Adams." "Oh, I'll have one too." "Yeah, me too." And the other guy's like, "Me 4." Oh god, it was awful.
Oh god.
And then it goes over to the guy dressed as Samuel Adams. Oh, a fine choice, you know. So we get this sketch that starts off the exact same way, and they're like, "I'll take a Samuel Adams." Well, I'll take a Samuel Jackson. You know what? I'll have a Samuel Jackson too.
Good motherfucking choice.
Yes, and that's when you go over to Dave as Samuel L. Jackson selling his Samuel Jackson beer. And oh my god, I fucking love this sketch. And it was a great way to start off season 2. In fact, I love when he's, "It'll get you drunk. You'll be fucking fat girls in no time." Oh, so fucking funny.
No, that's how I talk.
Yeah. How's it taste, motherfucker? Huh? Can you stop yelling at me, please?
No, I can't stop yelling. That's how I talk.
Yeah.
Haven't you seen my movies?
So, yeah, because he had done a Samuel L. Jackson impression in season 1 for a couple of sketches, I think. So he had already established that, and just the Samuel Jackson beer was fucking hilarious. So, yeah, I thought it was great.
Yeah, it's a good start.
Yeah. So the next kind of bit that he rolls into is he comes out and he's smoking on stage after he does his big grand entrance.
Again, well, I think even then, smoking like indoors was
it was on the way out in most places, and because the whole point.
Which, sidebar, do you even remember? Like, it's hard for me to even fathom how it used to be with smoking indoors.
Oh, I remember it very well still because I, had family and people that I knew. Like they all like smoke like fucking chimneys.
Yeah, same. Like I grew up with it.
Yeah.
But to think how we are now, going back to that would be just
it's
awful.
insane. It's insane.
Just fucking awful. I'm like
I remember in restaurants, smoking sections, and it was like a small little fucking plastic divider.
Yeah, smoking or non. That was a standard phrase. Like, what section you want to sit in.
Yeah.
And they still have some smoking sections, like if you go into casinos.
Yeah, which that makes a little bit of sense, I guess.
Because you're sitting there for so long, I guess.
They want to keep people in the seats.
Right. They want you to sit there. They want you to keep popping money into the damn thing and, smoke your cigarettes. I've been playing this machine for 15 years.
Yeah.
I won $300 2 years ago.
Yeah, and that was the whole point of him coming out there and doing that, because I guess they had just banned it in New York. And then it went into him talking about how he's like always had like dissension in his blood, right? And it's a very quick like going to different time frames of alleged like family members of him, like first him standing outside smoking in New York in the cold, like, oh, Bloomberg's fucking up, and again Mayor Bloomberg, an old reference there. And then, man, Carter's fucking up. Then what was it? Man, Truman's fucking up. And then you get Lincoln's fucking up. And then he goes all the way back to Africa. He's like, hey, there's some white folks over in a boat. I'm going to go see what they want. So he's like, I fucked up. So,
which it's establishing vernacular for the rest of us forever.
Yeah.
Now. Man, I fucked up.
Yep. Then the next one I thought was really not that great. It was him saying how things are better in slow motion, and it was okay.
There was a couple of them. Like what I think is funny is
what
it's a weird tweet that Scott from the Used and Abused pod posted in our in-show chat. Heinz tomato blood, 57 blood types. Kind of weird.
Okay, I don't know what that's in reference to.
I don't either.
Yeah,
I'm a little confused and I'm slightly afraid.
Yeah.
What was I saying?
We were talking about the things in slow motion. You actually like.
Oh, I like the robot guy.
Oh yeah, that's where we were introduced to him.
Yeah,
was in this sketch, and the fucking weird robot guy's like looking up all the time. And
every time he pops up in something, he
Well, yeah,
does
it's
the
fucking
same
hilarious.
thing every
Yes.
fucking time, no matter what. Hey, this is like colonial America,
And it's so fucking random too,
Yep.
and he's like thrown
Yep.
in. But every time you see him, it's fucking hilarious.
Mhm.
Like when we see him in the next sketch in the racial draft.
Yep.
That was the big one of this episode, like the anchor sketch of this episode, and oh, it was fucking great.
Again, Martin Luther King Day, folks.
Yeah, yeah. We'll have a racial draft. But no, it was he was talking about how he's in an interracial marriage. His wife is I think she's Filipino. And he's talking about how they're arguing about Tiger Woods, which half of him is hitting the ball better because he's also half Asian, half black, and it just gets into the whole draft concept, and they treat it like a sports draft. You've even got
Right.
the football music. Dun, 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 dun,
Yep.
dun, dun, dun.
You got Bill Burr
Yeah.
and Chappelle sitting at the desk, like
Mhm.
like the commentators would be.
Yeah, and
Who
when
was the
they're
third guy? There was a third guy there, wasn't there?
yeah, just random
Or
dude.
some random-
The other guy who's
Random
also
white guy.
yeah, he's also commentating when they do the World Series of Dice. He's also
Oh
there.
yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These kings of click clack.
when just having to take their clothes off when they're getting fucking robbed.
Yeah, but that's later in the season. So fuck, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, so the racial draft, and it's like each race gets one pick, and they were all very funny. Another super dated reference was when the Hispanics get up, and they pick Elian Gonzalez,
Right.
if you remember. Which, if you weren't watching the news back then, you have no idea who this fucking kid is. But he's the little Cuban boy who, for some fucking reason, the government decided to raid the house where he was staying and like pull him from his fucking
Super famous picture of
Yeah.
like him being in like hiding in the closet with the, the uh, ICE agents with their fucking rifles.
yeah,
pointed
like
at
they
him
had
and
their
shit.
fucking guns in there,
Yeah.
and it was like this terrible situation.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
I think wasn't his mom like didn't they come over on like a little raft and his mom fucking drowned?
Yeah, it was horrible. It was a horrific story,
Yeah.
and it was a big deal for atypical of news events like that. Like so much that happens in the world, I guess.
Yeah.
It happened. It was a big deal for a little bit, and then people got bored of it,
Yeah.
and then they moved on to something
and,
else.
Yeah, and if you weren't following the news at the time, you probably wouldn't get this reference at all. It's like, well, who the fuck is Elian Gonzalez?
I doubt it's even in a fucking history book.
Probably not.
Yeah, it was just a small blip, which is ironic. Like, isn't it ironic?
Don't you think?
Don't see it. It makes me think about the fuck. I lost it. It's gone.
The Elian Gonzalez, the news. People forget about it.
Oh, it's just like the Ukraine thing right now. Like we're getting ready to be a year after the invasion, and
It's been a year already.
yeah. And like, when's the last time you heard anything about it?
Today when they bombed some shit and killed 40 people.
I mean, okay, they actually talked about it in mainstream media.
Well, I don't watch mainstream media anymore because it's all bullshit. I have my Google News feed, and I
Okay.
just see like headlines from all kinds of different outlets.
Yeah, I do the first alert thing, so I'm getting I'm getting it from a different source, so I don't know what the mainstream media
yeah.
is reporting.
If I'm watching mainstream media, it's because I'm either in a dentist office or I'm waiting for an airplane. That's pretty much the only time you're going to catch me watching CNN or Fox News or any of that.
Fair
So,
enough.
But anyway, we digress. So yeah, the racial draft. Black people pick Tiger Woods, which we talked about before. He's like, I always wanted to say this.
For shizzle.
Who went up next? The Latinos went up. The fuck. I should have wrote this down.
Well, the Chinese selected Wu-Tang.
Yeah, that was the end. That
That
was
was
the
at the end.
surprise pick. And then you had white people.
Right.
Oh, the Jewish people. They picked Lenny Kravitz.
Right.
Then they made a Miami Beach joke there, which
Right.
I guess you'd have to know that Miami Beach had a huge Jewish population.
Right.
And then, yeah, white people came up. And I love this scene because they had Mos Def, because he's made several appearances throughout Chappelle's
Right.
show as the black delegate. And Dave Chappelle was the white delegate, obviously, in whiteface. And I loved
as as Chuck, right? Isn't it like it goes at
well, when he was the anchor man, I don't
Right.
think this guy had a name, but it's the same character basically.
quiet, white person talking.
Well,
white
I love when he's walking to the podium and Mos Def goes, crack it. Very mature Rondell.
right.
I don't know why. I fucking love that part so much. Between him going, cracker. Very mature Rondell.
Oh God,
Oh,
it's so random too. It's
Yeah.
so fucking good.
yep. I'm talking. Excuse me. There's a white man talking here.
Excuse me.
And then he picks Colin Powell. And then they're like, Colin Powell's not white. He's not even a percentage white. And then they have the banner. They go to the banner, and it's a picture of Colin Powell, and it's Colin Powell, whiteness under review. And it shows the black delegation on the phone talking, and they make the deal where if they take Colin Powell, they also have to take Condoleezza
Rice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black delegation requests Eminem. Oh, wait a goddamn
No,
minute.
you wait a goddamn minute. Well, that the exchange was funny.
Yeah, that whole thing between the black and the white delegations was great. But then, of course, the Asians came up and they selected the whole Wu-Tang clan,
Right.
which was funny and good if you understand, Wu-Tang clan and all that.
Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with.
Yep. And they had a good speech, and it was good. I really enjoy the racial draft sketch, even to this
Right.
day. Even though there's some dated references, I think it's still one of the highlights of the whole series.
Yeah, I would agree. It's in the top.
Yeah.
Man, we should at the end do like a top,
Top 5 sketches or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, we can do that.
but not including. We have
Yeah,
to eliminate the
The Rick James and the
Rick
Prince.
James and Prince. Yeah.
Because that just wouldn't be fair. All right. So moving into the second episode, it starts with, this is another dated reference because at this time in late 2003, early 2004, McDonald's was running these commercials about how they're so, they're so friendly to the black communities by opening up McDonald's in their neighborhoods and giving them jobs and everything. And, they do the Whack Arnold sketch, which is a parody of that. Calvin got a job. Way to go, Calvin.
Right.
And Chappelle's like, it ain't like that. And he shows like the darker side of it.
Right.
After, he's been working there for several weeks.
Yeah,
and-
like, yeah, can we have some real food? Like,
yeah. You can't be bringing me and your baby home French fries and hamburgers every goddamn night. Well, what am I supposed to do? Get a real job, bitch. And it's just them fighting. It's like, Mike Arnold's is tearing this family apart. And she was cheating on. I love the line too, where he like looks over, he sees the gloves on the thing because he saw the dude leaving the house. He's like,
Right.
"What is this? Who is it? Who you fucking OJ? Who is this?"
Again, dated reference, but I think
Well, everybody should understand that reference,
right.
'cause
Yeah, it should.
that's one that I would hope hasn't gone away. But yeah, I love that whole fucking exchange. And then when he's like, "And guess what? The rib sandwich is coming back on Tuesday. Guess who ain't getting one?" That's right. I ain't giving you hamburgers, no apple pies. I ain't giving you shit. Calvin's got that on lockdown. Another great sketch. This is one of my favorites again. But if you don't understand what they're parodying at the time, then may not make as much sense.
Right.
Then we go into the Negro Damas. So last season we had the Ask a Black Dude with Paul Mooney. Paul Mooney, rest in peace, one of the funniest men alive. Well, not alive anymore. And
Spoiler alert.
yeah,
Jeez.
Chappelle wanted to have him back on, and they created this Negro Damas character. Not good at all. This was a low point of the whole thing, which is a real shame. And again, dated references. They talk about Stark Jones, and it's like, really? Like, I looked over at Kristen, and I'm like, is she even still alive?
Is she? Did you look it up?
I think so. Yeah, I think she's still alive. Like Rosie O'Donnell, a lot of dated stuff, and it just overall it just wasn't funny.
No. No, I agree.
And I was expecting to see the Wayne Brady mention in this because there's another Negro Damas sketch later in the season where they mention Wayne Brady, and that's the catalyst
Right.
for a whole other episode, which is one of the higher points of the series.
Right.
But that was not in this one.
Yeah, the one with Wayne Brady makes.
Yeah, white people love Wayne Brady because he makes Brian Gumbel look like Malcolm X.
That's right.
So, but yeah, no, they just Not good. Then we go into the Black Gallagher sketch. This is, again, a dated reference, but for guys like us, like, I don't know if you remember, but Gallagher had these stand-up specials on all the fucking time in the late 80s and early 90s.
He was huge when he passed away last year.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Fairly, I think November last year?
Yeah, it was very recently.
So, and they were talking about it, like Gallagher's stand-up, he was one of the first people to do a stand-up special.
Yeah, like they were playing it on VH1, on Comedy Central.
Yeah.
It was like it was getting played all the time, and he had multiple specials.
And my parents would actually, this was something that was on when it was on HBO or whatever, you'd be allowed to watch because it was a family-friendly show for the most part.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was, I definitely remember Gallagher.
Yeah.
And of course, fucking smashing watermelons. I
Yeah.
mean, who doesn't like that shit?
Yeah, big idiot with a mallet just like smashing the shit out of stuff on stage.
Fucking front couple of rows, with the big piece of plastic fucking pulling over them like this so they don't get fucking, seeds and shit in their fucking eyes. Ow!
Mm-hmm. So, Chappelle does the black version of Gallagher, Black Gallagher, and it was funny. It was, him doing a couple of his little quips, and then he goes to smash the watermelon, and he's like, "Are you ready to smash some fruit?" Well, Black Gallagher don't go out like no bitch with a mallet, and he pulls out a fucking handgun and shoots the watermelon, which
with the weird animation that they do with
Yeah.
the fucking gunshot.
Yep, and then it shoots somebody in the audience. I got warrants, and that was it. It was a very short sketch.
Yeah.
Then we go into bit of a racially charged sketch.
Right.
The N-word family.
Right.
And then we move on to episode 3.
Yes.
So we'll just move right on to episode 3 that starts off very weak also. And this is the one with John Mayer, and they talk about white people dancing.
Dude, I love this fucking sketch.
Do you?
The fucking part in here, and this is one of my favorite things ever, was when John Mayer and Chappelle, they go into one of the things, right? And they sneak in, and I forget what he starts with, but then Chappelle goes, "Play the fight riff." Right, and then everyone starts fucking beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah, they're in the restaurant.
Dude, I use that all the fucking time.
Really?
Play the fight riff. That part was fucking great because it's the truth.
Yeah.
It's the absolute truth. Like I love that sketch. I thought it was great.
Well, and they were showing footage too, like as he's talking about like how white people traditionally don't dance, or how when they hear guitar they do, and it like showed a quick flash of the Woodstock where they were all in the fucking mud during the Green Day concert. They were throwing the fucking mud, having the mosh pits, and just doing all the crazy shit.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I just played a fight riff.
So all right, that makes sense.
Breaking tables and shit. And as soon as he stops, they're like sitting down. Like,
yeah.
oh, what happened?
Well, and then there was the part that I got the chuckle out of watching it this time around was when they went into the black barber shop and he's playing the guitar and the dude just goes like, "Yo, would you shut the fuck up?"
Right.
And then they busted into the drums.
Yeah, isn't that it's fuck. From the shit.
The guy, he was from one of the late night bands. Oh yeah.
Right? Questlove.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't he also play in one of the late night bands?
Yeah, he's on Jimmy Fallon's.
Yeah.
He's Jimmy Fallon's guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was Questlove. That's right.
Yeah. So, but overall, I personally didn't like the sketch that much.
Play the fight riff.
Clearly you did. So
I love that part.
And the only other notable sketch in this third episode was the Three Daves, which I like this one because it's him basically talking about himself in 3 different phases of his life: when he was like a budding comedian at 18, when he was like a 25-year-old, like doing Half-Baked and just like really kind of getting into his career, and then today as a husband and a father,
right?
And how he would react with different situations, like with the police, and like my favorite part of this was like losing jobs to other actors, in like when he was 18. Who was it? Fuck. The Wayans brothers. There's more. When he was 25, Chris Tucker. Shit. That's the third one I've lost this week.
The Wayans brothers.
Yeah.
That's another one.
Mm-hmm. Or even Chris Tucker. I mean, I think people forget Chris Tucker was fucking huge for a very brief moment in the late 90s.
Yeah, him and Jackie Chan did everything.
Yeah.
The Roots, not Fuji's. The Roots. Thank you.
Yeah. And then when he's at home with his son, he's like, Nick Cannon? Who the fuck's Nick Cannon?
Mhm.
The kid's like, Dad, Nick Cannon's hilarious. And
Right.
this sets up jokes later on in the season, too. But fuck you, son.
Nick Cannon's your new daddy.
Yeah. I'm glad you think he's so goddamn hilarious because he just walked off with your school clothes money.
All right.
Ready to get to Chappelle? Or to Rick James?
I'm Rick James, bitch.
All right. So, yeah, that was episode 3. Now, let's get into episode 4.
Yes.
Which starts off with Chappelle talking about, like when he's on stage, he's talking about Charlie Murphy and how he's Eddie Murphy's brother. I didn't know that before I saw this episode.
No, neither did I.
I just knew him as, he was in a couple of sketches, but he was Tyree from the Mad Real World that we talked about in the first season, and he looked like the meanest motherfucker on planet Earth.
Yeah.
Like, I would never want to be anywhere near this guy. He looks fucking...
Yeah, he had Mean Mug down. Fucking pat.
Which, conversely, he seems like such a nice guy in real life, so he doesn't seem like that.
Right. Rest in
seemed-
peace.
Yeah, Charlie Murphy. Yeah, because he died. Fuck. What year did he die? That was probably about 10 years ago at this time.
Has it been 10 years?
Yeah, hold on. I'm going to look it up right now. Charlie Murphy. Charlie Murphy!
Charlie Murphy!
Okay, he died in 2017, so it's been 6 years.
Jeez.
Yeah. That's a shame. But yeah, so it's talking about Charlie Murphy. He's Eddie Murphy's older brother. And Chappelle's like, yeah, he used to tell us all kinds of fucked up stories backstage. So he's like, well, you got to tell some of these on the show.
Yeah, Navy vet too.
Yeah.
Charlie Murphy.
Yep.
Which is just can you imagine? Can you imagine that personality just fucking
Oh god,
just
that would
in the
be crazy.
military and like some fucking just bunch of sailors in a ready room and with that sense of humor too.
Mm-hmm.
It's either that or he's fucking stealing people's fucking lunch money. One or the other.
Right. And it's, the way he makes it sound like he joined the Navy. And then by the time he got out, Eddie was a huge star. Like,
Right.
So, and then he got to start meeting famous people because, he's hanging out with his brother and his
Right.
brother's, recording songs with Michael Jackson and hanging out with Rick James. And this whole episode is about the Rick James stories.
Yes.
Oh my God. And we're going to talk about, after we talk about the episode itself, like the ramifications this had on the rest of Chappelle's show, on Dave Chappelle himself, on all of these people.
True Hollywood stories.
Yeah, and that's what it was. It was called Charlie Murphy's True Hollywood Stories.
Which I'm going to put it out there to say that without the Rick James stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that this series does what it does.
Oh, I agree.
I
think it would have more of a legacy of just having a lot of racially charged sketches.
right,
But
but it doesn't get Dave Mill, Mega Millions.
no. Like he never signs that $35 million
No.
contract.
This
at the end of the
was
season.
this was like some of the funniest shit ever.
Yeah.
Some of the funniest shit I've ever seen on
Mhm.
fucking television. And between this and the fucking Prince shit,
Yeah.
because it's like legit. It's like legit storytelling.
Yeah, and people have corroborated these stories after
Right.
the fact. Like Prince did interviews after that sketch aired, and he's admitted, like, yeah, that's pretty much the way it happened.
Right.
And
And he made his pancakes,
yeah,
staring off into space. We'll get there. That's
yeah,
later.
That's
later.
next. And yeah, we'll debate which one of these sketches is actually funnier because
Right.
I have my own opinion. But I mean, you cannot, downplay the effect that this sketch had on everything. Like we said, the life of Dave Chappelle, the legacy of this show. It all happened right here with this fucking Rick James episode. And it's, Charlie Murphy talking about, his brother and meeting famous people. And then it's
Right.
like Rick James was the first person he was ever starstruck by. And he saw his aura. It was
Right.
orange. And then, of course, you get your first shot of Dave as Rick James
Yep.
with the fucking dreadlock. Give it to me, girl.
Give it to me, girl.
He's just like... And, oh, my God. And
Interpretive dancing. Give it to me, girl.
And yeah, not to take anything away from Dave's performance too, because he performed as Rick James fucking perfectly.
Yeah.
Because Rick James was known as, a fucking hard partier, huge fucking drug user, just a crazy fucking person when he came up in like the 70s, you know, as
Just have this image, like I'm rolling through the sketch in my head right now, and just like darkness.
well, yeah, but like his first dialogue as Rick James, where I'm one of the baddest motherfuckers of all time, I'm one of the best singers and best looking motherfuckers you've ever seen in your life. Hold my drink, bitch. And he's like, he would just walk up to a girl and lick the whole side of her face.
Hi, Kath.
Oh, Kathy's in the chat. And like
she's saying hi before she drives home from work. So hi.
And you know, he'd go up.
I'm Rick James, bitch.
He'd lick the girl's face. I'm Rick James, bitch. Enjoy yourself. And
go treat yourself.
Yeah, and oh my God, just his portrayal of Rick James was great, and then the fact that they actually got the real Rick James.
And this is the part that made it the best. Like, so you have the framing of this was perfect. So you have, it's not just a sketch. It is, all right, we have Charlie Murphy who's standing there telling the story. Right. And it's perfect. He's standing there. There's nothing behind him. There's
it's just a green screen.
Yep. There's no distractions, no nothing. He's just standing there and he's telling the story. And then you get the cut-ins to, you know, Dave doing his thing with Charlie Murphy involved in the fucking sequence. And then you get like a cut to Rick James sitting in a chair, obviously being interviewed. Yeah. And then you get to these points where it's like Rick James says something, like when he gets to the point where he can basically confirm something to Charlie Murphy that he did to Charlie Murphy. Yeah. Then they were like, they rewind it.
Well, yeah, it's the grinding the feet on the couch.
Right. Fuck yo couch.
Which we use all the time still.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. God. It's
and that's kind of like the flow of this is it's 3 incidents basically that happen with Charlie Murphy and Rick James because they're always like fighting each other and fucking with each other. Yeah, I was going to talk about that actually, Sean, when we talk about like the after effects of this, because yeah, that was part of his $35 million contract he signed with Comedy Central. We'll get into that after this, but yeah, he is that you? Oh shit, that's me. Healthcare, Marlton. Why the fuck are they calling me? Should I answer it?
Sure. I can hear that.
Okay. They wanted feedback.
Yes, we heard.
Yeah. So, hey, you get to interrupt the show every week.
No.
With phone calls.
Like, is that when somebody's talking to me on the phone? Is it that loud?
It can be.
That's funny.
Anyway.
I love it.
So, yeah, he talks about these 3 individual incidents that happen where him and Rick kind of, you know, go at each other a little bit.
Then I have to check them.
Yeah. And the first one was when he walked into a club and Rick James pops up and goes, Charlie Murphy, and boom, pops him in the fucking forehead with this ring, the Unity ring. Unity. And this was imprinted in that black head of his for at least a week.
Right. And it's Rick James sitting there, like, and he had the ring on.
Yes, and he's confirming this whole thing.
That's
so
like, Jesus Christ. It's what the mark of just an epic like storytelling. Yeah. At that point, it's just like you have the story being told, the background choreography of it, and then you have here's the key player. Yeah, is right there. It's just like Jesus Christ. And honestly, Rick James at that point, I didn't even know he was still alive until this had come on.
Yeah, and he died not long after this.
Right,
aired, actually.
This is like one of the last things he did.
Yeah.
And it was just, I had no idea he was still alive. And then he's doing this thing. I'm like, is that really Rick James?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
well, because the last
crazy.
Yeah. The last time we had seen him, I think VH1 several years earlier had done like a true, what was VH1 doing? Behind the Music. Right. Remember when they were doing the Behind the Musics? They had done one on Rick James and they talked about all the fucking legal troubles he'd had. Apparently him and his, you know, wife imprisoned and fucking raped a girl, but didn't get convicted. Like all kinds of crazy shit. Lots of drugs involved, obviously. Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug. Again, you want to talk about a line that is used
Yeah, I use that
Ad
almost
nauseam.
almost every day.
Yeah.
I feel like I use cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Yeah, cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Yeah.
And then it's repeated at least what 3 times.
Yeah,
in this?
3 times during the course of this episode.
But he's like laughing. Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Yeah.
It's just the reality of even making that statement.
Yeah.
Is just so fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Could
Oh
you
my
imagine
God.
2 grown men doing this? Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
cocaine's a hell of a drug. It's just so good. I can't even. Like I said, I'm playing the sequences in my head, and I love a good story. I love telling a good story and like listening to a good story.
Yeah, and this was just perfect.
Yeah, it was. It's like it's not a sketch,
Yeah.
right? The getting to visualize the stuff with Dave as Rick James is just awesome,
Yeah.
and it just adds so much to it. But even if they didn't have that, and it was just Charlie Murphy and Rick James in a room telling the fucking story, it still would have been fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right? Just
And-
having those two go back and forth.
I love the part too where after he gets hit and he's like, you know, first of all, I'm thinking, all right, this is Rick James. He's a big star. But my ghetto side was like, yo, stomp this motherfucker out right here.
Yeah.
The fuck is wrong with him?
Right. And you see him, he's got this look on his face.
Yeah. And
with
but,
the Jerry curls.
but then, like, it goes to the real Rick James, and he's like, what is he going to do? Hit me back? I'm Rick James. He's Charlie Murphy. Come on. What's the matter with you?
Right.
So even, like, the real Rick James is like, he's not going to hit me back because, you know, that was his thing. He would fuck with him because he was just Eddie Murphy's brother. He wasn't anybody important at the time.
And then until he goes up into the fucking hotel room.
Right. Then he goes in the hotel room and he goes back to throw another right hand. And I, wow, caught him with the front. And then,
He talks about it as like some karate kick, like some grown man kicking me in the chest.
yeah.
And then he's talking about the prison guard,
The security guard.
the security guard with the
Yeah.
fucking. He had one eye. It was like looking like this.
One eye was looking at me, the other was looking at Rick.
You know, you can't make some shit up like that too. That's just that was part of it.
Yeah.
That's a snapshot of the fucking scene that he was in right then.
And then, of course, Rick James is like, he's telling it like he gave me some sort of Bruce Lee karate kick or something.
Right. I think I'm bleeding inside my chest.
Yeah. And then, of course, he's like, well, then, of course, here we go again. And he talks about the next story. And then, of course, like in between each one is a commercial break where it goes back
Right.
to Dave on stage. And he's like, this is all the episode. We'll be right back. And they go right
Yes.
back and they get right back into it.
Yeah, and which is perfect. Like, don't fuck with it.
Yeah.
Just let it happen. Just let this happen because this is fucking gold.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being in those fucking show meetings? Just be like, this is so amazing.
Yeah.
Like, this is coming out so fucking good.
Mhm.
We just need to like, bam, just fucking throw it up on the screen and just sit back and just hide the money, y'all.
Yeah.
You know, at that point, because it was fucking brilliant.
Yep.
It just really was.
Yeah. And then, so the second story is him talking about Rick coming over to Eddie's house.
Right.
And he's rolling in there. Nice place. And he's like, he shows up at my brother's house, fucked up. And he rolls in there and he's got these brand new couches. They were suede, and the way they make them look in the thing, they were like just like bright white.
Right.
And he's got those muddy boots, and he just starts grinding mud into his couch. And he's, why don't I stretch out?
With this high, the like
Yeah.
boots are like
The
this
high heel
high.
boots.
I don't
yeah.
even know how Chappelle was walking in these fucking things.
Yeah.
Which I guess it true to the 70s form. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, how many movies? What movie was it? They had the heels with the fucking aquarium in it. You know what I'm talking about?
Was that like Zoolander or something?
No. It was older than that. It was fuck. Had like a goldfish in the heel.
Huh.
Damn it.
Was it an Austin Powers movie?
No. It was older than that.
Was it a Bond movie?
Not that serious.
Yeah. Oh, and Sean in the chat mentioned one line that we didn't say when he was at his hotel room. He's like, "Bitch, come over here and have sex with Charlie
Charlie
Murphy."
Charlie's sitting on the bed.
Yeah. So yeah, he shows up and he's like grinding the mud on the couch, like, "Fuck your couch,
Fuck your couch.
buy another one, you rich motherfucker." Which
Yes.
another line that I use
Yes.
all the time.
Yes. Right. So and then fucking Charlie and Eddie kicking this shit out of him.
Yeah, it's like, let's handle this.
Right.
And they go down and they beat the shit out of his legs.
Like,
of all things.
oh, 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 darkness.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that's when they go into the explanation of the darkness nickname.
Right.
Back then, we was the blackest brothers on the planet, according to Rick James. This is before Wesley Snipes. So, yeah, and they're just like beating the fuck out of his legs. And I love when they like pull back and his legs are just all like cocked off to the sides, like, you're cold as ice.
Cold as ice.
And even after taking a beating like that, Rick is going out like, fuck your couch.
Fuck
and he's
your couch.
dragging himself with his arms. I've been kicked out of better homes than this.
Yeah, and then it's just another great line that we can't use,
Right.
but it was a fucking perfect line
Yeah.
that we can't use because
he's
it's
like, I'll be back, you black motherfuckers. Wide nose having motherfuckers.
that's not the line.
Yeah.
That's
They
not
should
the
have
line.
never gave you inwards money.
That's the one. That's the one.
You don't know how to appreciate shit.
That's yeah.
And
that's-
just that Chappelle performance was fucking
yeah.
flawless. Just
Ow!
that just outrageous fucking performance. Even as he's
Ow!
dragging himself out,
Oh,
you know.
darkness. Oh, why'd you do that, Charlie Murphy? You punched me in my head. Oh, that was weeks ago.
That's the next one.
Oh.
When they're at the China Club.
The China Club.
Yeah.
I'm getting them mixed up.
Yeah.
It all kind of blends into one thing.
Yeah. But of course, at the end of this one, Charlie's like,
That's it.
what?
I'm gonna get you, sucker. Dirty,
Oh.
rotten mother.
I never
Don't you
saw
say
that.
that.
I never saw that actually.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So yeah, I love at the end of this this section, Charlie's like, yo, we gave, because Eddie Murphy's like, oh man, Rick really needs help, and Charlie's like, yo, we just gave him some help.
Yeah, that's right.
Busted his fucking ass and shit. I bet you he won't come around here disrespecting like that again.
That's right.
Wrong.
Wrong. Wrong.
Talking about Rick James, man.
I'm Rick James.
And then we go to the last part where it's in the China Club. He's talking about
Right.
going into the China Club, seeing O.J. Simpson with his big head, and Rick's behind the bar. And,
Right.
welcome to the China Club. A chinga chang chang. Not racist at all.
No, not at all. Nope. Nope.
Oh, and this starts off the best where he's like, come on, bitches, I'm Rick James. Show me your titties. Do something, you know?
I wish I had more thumbs. Give those titties 4 thumbs down.
Yeah. Because, you think at first he's like, I wish I had more hands. Because it's the 2 girls. So you think he's going to say, like,
Right.
so
Right.
so I can give those titties 4 thumbs down.
Yeah. Show Charlie Murphy your titties.
Yeah. And then, of course, he's like, darkness. He calls Charlie
Right.
over and he's like, there's a new joke going around. Have you heard it?
Yeah. What the 5 fingers say to the face? Slap!
And he slapped him, and the fucking
Slaps the shit out of him.
and the look on Charlie Murphy's face after that happens is like first shock, and then like, I'm gonna murder this motherfucker.
So, what's funny about this, besides the fact that it happened, is do you remember in survival school the first time you got slapped?
Oh yeah. Well, the first time I got hit in survival school was in the stomach,
Well,
and it knocked all the air out of me. It was like,
so I mean, I've been in fights and I've been punched and shit like that before. So that part, that didn't bother me.
so you're talking about the actual face
I'm
slaps.
talking about getting slapped in the fucking face.
Yeah.
And that shit was infuriating.
Oh yeah.
It fucking hurt like crazy, and it was fucking infuriating. And they knew it. They could see it. Like
Oh,
after
yeah.
they did it to me, these motherfuckers slapped me in the goddamn face, like full roundhouse fucking slapped me in the face, and they had to do an academic situation because I was bowing up like I was gonna kill them both.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was like these 2 little guys, and they were doing like this whole like, they were like acting with the 2 of them.
So
Like, one would play
sidebar.
off the other.
Sidebar. We got trained to like resist interrogations
Right.
and things like that back in our military days.
Yeah,
so,
but first thing they do is they fucking put you in there without any training
yeah.
to realize how bad you would suck at it.
Yeah.
And then they train you, and then they fucking go put you back in that scenario. But until that point, that motherfucker slapped the shit out of me, and then that
And they
was
were
like-
allowed to hit us. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, and they kept track of it too, which we found out later.
Yeah.
But yeah, that first slap to the face, like I had never been hit like that before,
Yeah.
ever, and I can only like when I saw this, you know, 5 fingers say to the face, slap.
Yeah.
Like that just immediately takes me back to that hit, that first time getting smacked in the face. I'm like, oh motherfucker.
I've got a good one for you. Sidebar. There was a girl in my squadron at the time when I was going through this. When she was going through survival school, she wore glasses, and she's like, you know, there in the prison camp,
Right.
and like she mouthed off, or she said something that they didn't like, and the guy like kind of grabs her and like puts her like gently against the wall, and it's kind of like rubbing her shoulders. Is like, you know, like starts playing with her hair, like takes her glasses off, puts her glasses on his thing, and he's like starting to play with her hair, and she's like thinking like he's trying to like come onto her or something. Like pulls her hair back, and then pulls back and slaps the shit out of her. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So
That must have been like, can you imagine like this guy's like, what is happening right now? You
Yeah.
know, like,
and knocks the fucking they did not. They treated men and women the exact same in this thing.
right.
Yeah, they interrogated and, you know, fucked us up all
If any-
equally.
If anything, the women got it worse to make the men more aggravated.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
and
it's-
I'm
it's
sure
a
that's
whole
what they
thing.
were doing to make the guys in the room like fucking ready to like do the same thing you were about to do
Right.
and fucking just start pounding on these motherfuckers.
I was taller than both those little shit
Yeah.
bags. I was
First
like,
of all,
I'm
you don't slap a man.
like, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You know,
You know, if you do that shit, you know, you would go in and you would have a duel.
yeah, you'd have a
Some-
gunfight.
Some motherfucker died.
Yeah, somebody's got to go. But yeah, it was another one of those situations, kind of like after the punch to the face, where, you know, he's like fucking stewing about it, and you can see him with that fucking
Right.
like anger look, like the fucking Tyree look in his face, where
Right.
he's about to fuck somebody up, and it goes back up to Rick, and he's like, "Man, I want to tell you something." And he fucking slaps Rick and down onto the
Like,
table.
yeah, like grabs the back of his head and like pulls it into the fucking table, like, no.
Yeah, and they did,
And the dreadlocks are all flying through the fucking air.
yeah, they did great slow-mo shots
Yeah.
of like Dave's head flapping
Bam.
up. And,
Bam.
yeah.
That was
Why you hit me like that, Charlie? Cause you hit me, man. That was weeks ago, motherfucker.
Oh, that system was weeks ago. No, that. What did he say?
He's
That
like-
just happened.
Yeah, that was tonight.
Oh,
I hit you tonight.
sorry, Charlie Murphy.
Yeah, I was having too much fun. Come here, darkness. And he hugs him. Ah.
Darkness is spreading.
And this is, of course, where he has it's a celebration.
It's a celebration.
Which we use all the time.
Yeah, I think we use that 15 times a show.
Yeah.
That's a celebration.
Yeah.
Bitches.
And, bitches, come here. It's a celebration, bitches. Show Charlie Murphy your titties.
Oh,
And then they lift up the shirts like, the milk's gone bad.
the milk's going bad. Yeah.
Again, like he gets these women to show him their tits, and he's like just mocking them the whole time because that's Rick James, man. That's
I bet you that's exactly how it was.
yeah,
I can only imagine that's exactly how it was.
yeah.
Because he was a fucking
He was one of the baddest motherfuckers of all time.
baddest motherfuckers of all time.
And then, of course, you know, you've got him and Charlie Murphy going back, the real Rick James and Charlie Murphy talking back and forth to kind of close out the sketch. You know, talking about how much they still like each other and how they're
Yeah.
still friends. But yeah, back in the day, confirming what Charlie was saying about we'd punch each other, kick each other,
Right.
smack each other in the face.
And check
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
come back.
Yeah.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Yeah, yeah. And that's, yeah, when you get that like extended version of him, like, can you imagine two grown men doing this? Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
I honestly, it's some of the best storytelling
Yeah,
in
ever.
ever in
Yeah,
television.
Yeah, like one of the best moments in TV,
Yeah.
period.
And again, I can't imagine being in the room when you're like storyboarding something like this and
Yeah.
getting ready to fucking put it on television and be like, this shit is the fucking tits.
Yeah, and I'm sure Charlie Murphy was the one who just like probably called up Rick James and be like, "Hey man, we're doing this sketch about you. You want to?"
Right. Hey, I'm gonna tell a story about us in the fucking Chicka Chicka China Club.
Yeah. And yeah, he showed up and he fucking did it, man. He was a great sport, and
Yeah. Yeah. He's got talking about do some fucking karate kick.
Yeah. And what's wild too is the fact that, at this point in 2004, most people had forgotten about Rick James.
Yeah.
He was kind of an afterthought. The last time, like I said, that anybody really heard about him was that VH1 Behind the Music thing.
Right.
And even that was years prior. So he was not in the spotlight. Probably a lot of younger people had no idea who he was at the time.
Oh, even I really didn't know who the hell he was. I mean, I've heard of him.
Yeah, well, I just remember the Super Freak video, the music video for
Super Freak.
Yeah, that's what I mostly remembered.
Super
Rick James.
Freak.
Yeah. But fuck, man, like after this episode aired, it was like everybody knew who fucking Rick James was.
Yeah.
This episode, like we said earlier, skyrocketed this fucking series.
Yeah.
To a whole new fucking level.
Yeah. This took it was a rocket ship.
Yeah.
It took Chappelle Show, it took Rick James, it took Dave.
Yeah.
Everything with it to the stratosphere.
Yeah.
And it as it should. Because it was a piece of brilliant storytelling, and it pulled everything else. Not saying that the other sketches and stuff weren't good, but it was a fairly generic sketch show.
Well, but
with a lot of racial overtones.
Yeah, but there was some real good, clever.
There was
stuff in
real
this,
good
and
stuff.
It brought more eyes to the product,
right?
For sure.
But this was a completely they weren't doing this. This was different.
Yeah,
this was different. And it was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And I can only wish that, when we get to the end of this season 2 and we start talking about like what could have been, if you could have had more things like this, like, if not Charlie Murphy gets somebody else.
Yeah.
To tell some fucking true Hollywood stories. Get like Gary Busey true Hollywood stories or some shit.
God, I can only imagine.
Some crackhead, come in there or fucking what's his nuts? Oh fuck, he's got AIDS right now.
He's got AIDS, but Magic Johnson.
No, he doesn't have AIDS anymore.
Oh.
Allegedly.
Charlie Sheen.
Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh God, I can only imagine.
Can you imagine get true Hollywood stories with Charlie Sheen?
Well, Charlie Sheen was the guy where Slash had to tell him that he was partying too hard and he better pull it back. So when Slash tells you you're cranking it up too much, you know you got a problem.
Yeah, it was like these sketches, and then honestly when we get to it, the Wayne Brady sketch too was.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
But and just to kind of again talk about the legacy that this episode left. This episode is why Dave at the end of season 2, because he was only contracted for 2 seasons.
Right.
And he didn't make dick for money in either of these 2 seasons. And there's a whole other big story that just went down over the last couple of years with him and getting royalties from it from Comedy Central and all that. But, he signed that big $35 million contract. That was the big thing at the end of season 2 for like 2 more seasons and also for a Rick James biopic movie.
Right.
Which would have been fucking insane. And, he started filming the 3rd season and he basically, the corporate pressure and the bullshit that they were putting him through broke him. And I guarantee you that wouldn't have been there if it wasn't for the popularity of that Rick James episode, because that was probably when Comedy Central started to take a look at this. Oh my God, fucking millions more people are watching the show now because of this fucking episode. Now we need to get our little fucking hands, more involved in the fucking creation of this show.
Yep.
And I guarantee you it was after that episode that, they started like getting into more of his shit and interfering more.
Well, because Chappelle Show became it was the standard.
Yeah, it was
for
the show.
It was for Comedy Central, because what did Comedy Central have going?
They had
for
South Park at that point. That was it.
Yeah, that was it. And South Park, obviously, that's a big one. But it's with Chappelle Show, you're getting a much broader audience, I think.
Yeah,
and it's unfortunately the way of things, right? If you're successful at something and you develop a product and it's doing really well, and you get it out to more people, then oh hey, somebody with the backing to be able to make this available to more people, now suddenly they want to have more influence into the product. It's kind of a tales all the time, whether you're in a retail business or fucking entertainment business.
Yep.
That's just kind of the nature of it. And look, like I said, I don't want to belabor it too much about like what happened with Chappelle after this,
Mm-hmm.
because I think there's a lot to be talked about with that.
Yeah.
Like, and then, going to Durban and hiding out,
Yeah.
like, and then being on a trip and trying to find them.
Yeah.
I was in a fucking casino in Durban.
Well, I will say, just again, to talk about some of the ways that this highlighted him, he did a comedy special while he was still doing Chappelle Show season 2. It was towards the end, or season 2 may have just wrapped, and he was doing this comedy special, and he mentioned like how he couldn't even take his fucking family to Disney World anymore, because he's like, every time I take my family to Disney World, I've always got somebody going like, hey, I'm Rick James, bitch.
Right.
I'm Rick James, bitch. He's like, would you mind not calling me a bitch in front of my kids?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could tell like that level of stardom was just like, oh my God.
Yeah, it was something he probably wasn't used to.
No.
Like, because again, like the show, him and his popularity fucking blew up over.
Oh yeah.
Though he was already a fucking extremely talented comic. Like, he already had a couple of good specials out before this, and obviously Chappelle Show was...
That first big stand-up special he had is still one of the best stand-ups.
Yeah.
That's
the one where he talks about how terrorists don't take black hostages.
Right. And he's got when he's in the limo and he's
in the hood.
He's rolling down the window like this.
Hey, baby.
It was an old limo.
Yeah.
He's just rolling like this. Hey, baby.
Yeah. And that was before Chappelle Show was ever a thing. That might have even been before Half Baked was a thing.
It might be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely an older one.
Yeah.
But yeah, that special was brilliant.
Hello? We have got 5 black... Hello?
Hello? Yeah, it's he's always kind of pushed that edge, and he's always been very, very good. And being able to tell, well, and it's not his story to tell with the Charlie Murphy thing, right? But he definitely, like, okay, we're going to frame this and add the entertainment value to this story. Like, this is a great fucking story just by itself.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Now, how can we embellish this thing?
And his performance as Rick James, I think, is what really elevated it. Because yes, it would have been great if it was just the two guys talking, but his just outrageous performance as Rick James really solidified this sketch. It was so fucking good, playing off of Charlie Murphy, just playing it straight, like just a normal person. Oh yeah, in that same special, he's like, "I'm Rick James, bitch." Oh, hi, I'm Rick James, bitch. He's like, I got so tired, I fucking uppercutted that motherfucker. Bop. Oh boy. Yeah. So the legacy of Rick James lives with him today. And honestly, if it wasn't for that, he probably wouldn't have made $100 million from all of these Netflix specials that he's done over the last several years. Because God, what has he done? Like 6 of those now? 6 or 7?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
he's made a shitload of money from those.
Yeah, his platform would be completely different.
Yeah.
If this is that thing.
Yeah.
This episode is that thing.
That moment it changed everything.
Yep. And like I said, it's one of those pieces that this is a timeless thing because it's a story that's within itself.
Yeah.
Right. So there's no external references that you really need to know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like it's talking about Rick James. Rick James is sitting there.
Yeah.
So you don't have to really know who he is because they're kind of telling you who he is. Like, hey, he's a disco star.
Right. Well, and I love too how it's how when they go to Rick James the first time, they got the little letters Rick James, and underneath it they have Super Freak because he really was.
Yeah. I mean, it's the truth.
Yep.
There was also the same special they had somebody get Ja Rule on the phone.
Oh yeah. Where is Ja? I don't want to hear from Ja Rule. I'm scared to death. He was talking about 9/11. Fuck, what was I saying? Okay, so yeah. So that's all of the episodes that we're going to record. For me, between these 4 episodes, highlights were the Samuel Jackson beer, the racial draft, and the 3 Daves outside of the Rick James episode. Those were like the big 3 for me. The rest was kind of some decent stuff, but a lot of dated stuff.
Right. I mean, I'm with you. Samuel Jackson beer, racial draft, and I really enjoyed fucking the play the fight riff.
Oh, yeah,
like the thing with John Mayer and him fucking sneaking around.
Mm.
Because I think the other part of that too is like you're all right. Here's John Mayer. Like here's this dude's
Just out of the blue.
this
'cause
guy's
was early
white
in
as
his,
Melba toast, right?
Yeah, and it was
So-
early in his career. I think this was probably before he was fucking Taylor Swift.
Probably.
Yeah.
So here's this guy. He's obviously this is White Music Incorporated, and he's like with Chappelle, and they're going around, and you could tell this is like a buddy thing. It's like, hey, let's do this. You were White Music. I'm going to bring you into these situations and talk about this. And they're like, okay, yeah, let's do that. That'll be fun.
Let's talk real quick about what Sean is saying in the chat, because I think this is kind of relevant.
All
He's
right.
like, I remember in high school, kids really use that N-word family sketch as an excuse to say the N-word. I think a lot of people, quoted a lot of Chappelle's show using the word just because, not out of like spite or not as an excuse to say it, but because it's like so ingrained in so much of what he says throughout like all of the show. And I think a lot of people were doing it, and I think it was a different time where it obviously still wasn't accepted, but not nearly as frowned upon as it is today in today's environment.
Dude, when this show had come out, as much as the word is said, and in these sketches and everything else, it's just never been I've never wanted to say it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not been something like, ooh, I wish I could say it. No, I don't want to say it. It's not, honestly, it's hokey, I guess, or whatever, but it's not my word to say.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I'll say a lot of stupid shit.
Yeah.
Right. But that's just something, there's a line there, and I'm not going to cross it. And especially like, cause I was friends with Chris Miller, and people that were, this was for them, this was part of that line. And I'm like, I respect that.
Oh yeah.
I respect that line.
That's fine.
And but to use that as an excuse, like, oh, well, here it is in this show. Like, you can control yourself and not fucking use it.
Well, and see,
because if I can do it, you can fucking do it, motherfucker.
yeah, but I mean, that was also kind of the whole point of that N-word family sketches. He tried to put the word into a different context, but really didn't, to see if it was still as offensive. And yeah.
Well, and he just wanted to have, portray a bunch of white people saying it
Yeah.
so easily. Can you imagine?
And they
the
never
actors-
got work again.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Have you ever seen those people in anything? No.
Not anything outside of Chappelle's show.
Right. Right. Like, talking about canceling. Like, these people freely use this word.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that wasn't a sketch.
Yeah.
But they shouldn't have said it. Like, all right, the world is a fucked place.
Yeah.
But in those days, you definitely could have Randy saying it with
Oh,
no
God.
fortune.
Oh yeah, that's a whole other conversation. I want to solve the puzzle. And he's got the smile on his face too, like I nailed it. And then,
Right.
what? And Vanna just slowly. Oh, naggers.
Yeah, listen, it's not my word.
Yeah.
It's just, and it's a, yeah.
Well, it was weird because, at the time, I mean, just as many white people were watching it, probably more white people were watching it than,
Oh, yeah.
other races. So, and people were quoting it still. So,
It's just one of those.
I was already out of high school at that point, but I would imagine a lot of the high schools, like the language was probably flowing quite a bit because, high school kids, when this was out, were probably watching the shit out of it. I know I would have been.
Yeah. Yeah, I would imagine so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we won't touch that anymore.
Control yourself.
Yeah.
Control yourself.
And so the next time we talk about Chappelle's show, we actually have it marked for the end of February 27th. The next episode is the next True Hollywood Story when they talk about Prince. So we'll
February
say
27th. Really?
yeah.
Huh.
So
What's the 5-year anniversary of my retirement?
Oh, no shit.
on the 27th.
It's a celebration.
It's a celebration, bitches.
So, but yeah.
Show Charlie Murphy your titties.
So we'll kind of we'll get in deep into the Prince episode just like we got into the Rick James one, and then we'll kind of compare and contrast. Because I think that one is just as funny.
Game. Blouses.
Again, let's not blow our wads. So yeah, looking forward to the next one that we do. But next week, we are talking about. So there was an article that came out several weeks ago that I sent a link to Dave about, and it was the 7 moments that ruined Star Wars. Which I know Dave rolled his eyes as soon as I sent it to him, but the whole point was. Like this particular article writer's opinion was these 7 scenes, quote unquote, ruined Star Wars, but they didn't really ruin Star Wars. That's like a bad word to use. They were like cringy moments in Star Wars. And what we're going to do is we're going to break down all 7 of this person's selections, and then we're going to come up with our own top 5 of cringy moments in Star Wars. So I think it's going to be a lot of us sort of defending Star Wars when we're going through this guy's list, and then just talking about our own silly, cringy moments throughout the franchise.
Right.
So
yes.
So that's what we're gonna do. More Star Wars centric next week.
Yeah.
And then after that, we're getting back to the Bad Batch. Oh. Then we're gonna go to New York, and then we're gonna go to Boston.
Yeah.
Again, very dated reference.
Yeah,
yeah. Like millennials and Gen Zers were like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
You know what? It's funny though. I've seen that in a meme recently.
Really?
Like it popped up in a meme, and I'm like, "Do people really know what that is? Do they know the
I
context
doubt
of
it.
that?"
I guarantee you, none of my kids know what the fuck that is.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's our next couple of shows. We're getting back to more Star Wars centric, but we had to do Chappelle show because we had to talk about Rick James.
Rick James, bitch.
So that being the case, did Lunar Girl send us a read for this week?
There is no read.
No read for this week.
Yeah, so I feel like we could probably give J-Lo the week off.
Okay, that's fine. I know it's a weird week. You know,
Yeah.
Kelly's got her family business going on, and we have no reads. So
well, if there's a review,
we can check for reviews, which I doubt. But
if there's a review, then maybe J-Lo, maybe we can drag her out of her trailer or do something remote or something.
yeah, let's see. Shows.
Otherwise, I'm just going to sing the reads that I have.
Okay, you are or she is.
I am.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no new reviews.
All right.
Leave us a 5-star review, people. Come on, go on to Apple, go on to iTunes, leave us a 5-star review, please.
All right.
And write dialogue. Don't just click the star and be like, "Oh, I did my duty." No, you have to write stuff so that we can read on the show.
All right. I'm singing.
So no Miss Lopez this week.
No Miss Lopez.
Oh, I'm gonna take my happy pill now.
That's 7:15. All right. So no Miss Lopez this week. Apologies to those who were waiting, but if you really want to guarantee that Miss Lopez makes an appearance, then you need to leave us a 5-star review.
Yeah. Oh, sidebar. We were talking about Chappelle show at work today.
Oh yeah.
Because somebody mentioned Africa. And anytime anybody mentions Africa, I'm like, me and Jeb just coming back from Africa, cradle of fucking civilization. And this motherfucker out here buying yellow cake from the motherland. Are you sure it was yellow? Y'all don't believe me. I got some yellow cake right here. You see this shit? You believe this shit now? Don't drop that shit. I know what to do with it. I got it wrapped up in the special CIA napkin. Just don't drop that shit. Yeah. Yeah, but I hope I don't drop the shit. Pray to God you don't drop that shit.
What episode is that?
That was the last episode. That was Black Bush in the very last episode of season 2.
Really? Was it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't drop that shit.
Don't drop that. The fucking janitor that they fucking pulled out of off the fucking street.
Holla, holla.
Holla, 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 holla.
Yeah, now that guy.
Holla, 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 holla.
Now all of a sudden that guy's playing in sketches.
That's
Don't
right.
drop that shit.
I'm gonna holla at you, holla, 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 holla.
All right. So anyway, you got reads to sing?
I'm going to sing the reads. Not sure if I should fix the reverse. I don't. All right. All right. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
In Red 5 News. After our stream, 2100 9 p.m. Eastern. Well, actually, no. That probably after our stream at 2100 after the weekend is probably reviewing something on YouTube. Hop in their live chat and tell them the Sidebar Cantina sent you vague instructions on showing up. The Red 5 Network has 29 active podcasts.
I'm 37?
29. From our content creators, check out the new and improved bio.link/red5. That's bio.link/red5 to browse this amazing lineup. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm singing like the fucking Alanis Morissette people. Oh God, yeah. I really should do I need to work on a Muppets impression.
Yeah. Which Muppet, though? There's a wide variety of Muppets.
I know. I used to be able to do a Kermit one.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Hi-ho.
Hi-ho. Yeah, but it's hard because it's like really bad. It's like deep in the back of your throat. So you have
I can hear a little Hank in there, too.
it's Hank trying to get out.
Hank the Frog.
Hank the Frog.
Because you have like a southern twang to the...
I like propane and propane byproduct. All right. God, it's so much easier when JLo reads this.
Yeah.
We will once again be participating in the Star Wars Podcast Day on February 7th. This year, the date falls on a Tuesday.
Oh, sidebar.
Yes.
So I reached out to Nick from Swede Studios.
Yes.
About coming out for that episode.
Yes.
Because he had wanted to come out for that topic when we originally were going to talk about it in May.
Yes, I see.
Yes, so he's probably coming here for that episode, February 7th.
Great.
In the studio.
Awesome.
I meant to tell you before.
Okay. I thought we talked. I thought we did talk about it.
Not since moving the topic to February.
Not as such.
Right.
Okay. Fair enough.
We had to handle business here on the show.
Right. Right. See what happens when Luna Girl doesn't fucking give me notes and J-Lo takes a fucking powder.
Mm-hmm.
Podcast Day, Star Wars Podcast Day on February 7th. This year, the date falls on a Tuesday.
Yes, so mark your calendars. We'll be...
So we will have a live stream, change the schedule for that week. So far, we are one of 59, probably more than that.
I'm 37?
Plus 22. Star Wars podcast taking part around the world, and the count is climbing. The count? Yes. I said count.
Is that a word?
No. Follow Star Wars Pod Day. Star Wars Pod Day. StarWarsPodday. Star Wars Pod Day.
Yes.
Make sure you have both those D's in there
Yes.
because it's confusing.
Yes.
Otherwise, it looks like Star Wars Potty.
That's what she said. Make sure you have both those D's in there.
It's all right. Then there's a note in here about Luna Girl taking a week off. Yeah, that's why we're so listless.
Mm-hmm.
Cantina family happenings. We had Yo B, I am your manager.
Yo, B, I am the manager. How can I help you? Your job is done.
Used and Abused Pod is doing Goonies tomorrow night at 1700, 5 p.m. Eastern.
Hell yeah, suck toes. Good afternoon. Welcome to Pop Copy. Can I help you?
Because fuck them, that's why. Again, something that's been like really relevant on fucking memes and shit recently.
Yeah.
Been seeing that all the time. Because fuck them, that's why.
My butt is itching like crazy, and I took a shower.
Can I help you?
Just trying to derail you as much as I can.
Booth in the back is done. Swede's the champ. ATSW. Don't know what ATSW is doing. If you're in the chat, holla at me. Holla, holla, holla. Holla, 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 holla. Holla, 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 holla. Used and abused won't be in the chat on the 7th as a live also that day. You can hop between the two. Like, split the screen.
Yeah.
It's easy to do.
Because fuck them, that's why.
Because fuck them, that's why. Stars Pod Day, bitch. I'm Rick James, bitch. You can find us at thesidebarcantina.com. No, that's not true at all. I made that up just now. I'm not reading. It's like I'm not like it's weird. I'm not like reading this the way I usually would read it. So maybe I have to look at it from the side and like prop my arm up or something.
I think J-Lo's done something to us.
It's fucking weird, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. But you can find us at the bio.link slide. bio.link/the Sidebar Cantina, where you will find our links to YouTube, audio, Patreon, and our latest Spotify music mixtape, and all social media platforms, including Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, and Discord, and TikTok. Christ. Also in our bio link is our TeePublic merch shop. We have our F Cancer and Jason Rose designs, our super sexy sidebar chick, our beloved Hennifer, which it looks like this. Looks like that right there. Have that on a t-shirt. You can see it. I was sporting that last week.
That's right. That's right.
That's right. Still the pillow. The pillow of justice is
Yep.
missing.
Yep. It's in the house.
I'm sure it is.
It is.
So you can buy a Jason Rose fuck pillow. You can get a t-shirt with the Sidebar Cantina logo, like this one right here. Yeah, look at the titties. Have you seen that fucking deep fake where they put Arnold's face on Kate Winslet?
No.
Yeah, it's for the Titanic scene.
Oh no.
I want you to draw me like one of your French girls.
Oh no.
Wearing this and only this.
I don't think I could watch it.
Dude,
that would ruin that forever.
Fucking hilarious. And when it pans back, when she's like opens up her thing,
No.
and it's just the guy doing the Arnold impression, like, Jack, look at my boobies.
No.
Dude, it's fucking hilarious.
No, I can't.
Oh God, dude, I've seen it like probably 6 times in the past couple days. It just keeps popping up.
Oh God, why?
I know, right? That pillow's got to be fucking gross. I hope it's machine washable. It probably is. It's probably machine washable. Just be careful drying it, or dry it with like get like a couple baseballs or something and dry it with that so it'll like keep it fluffy.
With baseballs?
Yeah. Actually, you know what I used when I washed my jacket that had like it's one of those floofy jackets. I used pickleballs.
Really?
Yeah, I threw it in there with pickleballs to fluff it.
Huh.
Yeah, it's the same as like if you're fluffing a pillow, you're just doing it, right? You're just fluffing it. So if you put it in the dryer with like balls,
wouldn't that be like loud as shit? Like
oh yeah, it's horrible. It scares the shit out of the dog too.
Yeah, like putting shoes in a dryer is bad enough. I couldn't imagine putting a bunch of baseballs.
Dude, I can't. Fucking a ball cap in the dryer is loud as shit.
Yeah,
like it doesn't matter what you put in there. It's going to be fucking loud. So, but it works. It fucking works.
All right.
There are t-shirts, hoodies, tote bags, phone cases, exclusive stickers and pins, wall art, magnets, notebooks, laptop cases, pillows. Just about anything you can imagine. Sidebar family members Wally Frogmore is currently working on a new design for LG that will make an appearance in the shop in the near future. And Ludacris has a couple of other designs that she is working on. Stay tuned for updates. Steve had to go. He can't do this. He just can't do it.
All right, another sidebar.
Make sure to tag us on the socials to show off that fine, sweet ass merch.
Dave's Dimension in the chat made a great fucking comment talking about the 5 worst moments in Star Wars. What are the 5 worst Star Wars moments? Dylon, 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 and Dylon. No, that was good. That was clever.
Nice. I'm gonna say reviews just because it's here. But we already know that there's no reviews
Correct.
unless there has been one in the past like 5 minutes or so.
No, and even if somebody had done it while we were saying something, it wouldn't be
That's
posted.
complete horseshit.
Yeah.
People need to get reviews.
Yes, they do.
Oh yeah, the helmet fire just sent me the link to the Nepal thing. Oh, it's fucking horrific.
Yeah.
So please write us a 5-star review on Apple. Don't have an Apple account? What are you, some sort of heathen? I don't know. Who doesn't have an Apple account, honestly?
Yeah, there's some people who are just vehemently against Apple.
Well, they're crazy. I don't know what's wrong with them.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do they have the cock and balls? Maybe they need the cock and balls. A little bit.
Ugh.
They need to play with them. Maybe they need to dip them in some sauces.
Jeez.
A little cock and balls and some sauce.
Apparently, our balls have taste buds. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes stick them in a little bit. We'll do some soy sauce. It tastes delicious.
Maybe later.
Some salty, then, sweet and sour.
That's a visual.
So teabag their sweet and sour sauce and like our Facebook page too. I just made that up. Ludicro, we really need you to keep us on track.
I know, right?
Just screenshot your review before you hit done and DM us the pic on Instagram or Twitter. Tell us what you love or even hate about the show. Jennifer Lopez, who's on sabbatical this week, or Hank, or Edith, or Mama. I guess it's me. Is that me?
Yeah, I think you're being Mama today.
My cock and balls. Somebody fun will read your review, word for word, on our next episode. Plus, Ludicro will send you swag. Don't you want swag? Don't you? Jason.
Oh, I do, yes.
Jason, do you want swag?
Yes.
Do you like swag?
Yes.
Like for your cock and balls?
No.
How about dipping sauce?
No.
Dipping sauce for the cock and balls?
Jesus, no.
How about just for the balls? So you can taste it. No. Just a little bit.
Oh, you need to stop.
Do it for her because she doesn't have enough to do. Anyway, that's it. I'm all done now.
All right. Thank you, Mama. Oh,
Do something. Dave can't just do reads.
yeah.
He just can't do
You
it.
can't just do it in the normal voice.
Just can't. It doesn't happen.
Yeah, we're programmed.
I
a certain
can't
way.
read unless it's
In a
somebody
voice.
else.
It's like you can't do karaoke unless it's in a voice, right?
Facts.
Yeah.
Big facts.
So anyway, like I said, Star Wars episodes for quite a while. Our next non-Star Wars episode is February 13th when we talk about the movie Old School and its 20th anniversary. Oh, I can't wait to get into that. That's going to be fucking great.
Another deep fake that's out there been circulating is Arnold on Will Ferrell's face during the scene where he fucking gets the dart in the neck.
Oh, no.
Dude,
you got a fucking dart in your neck.
What? You're crazy. I like you, but you're crazy.
Yeah, but we won't blow our wad. All right. That's the show, folks. A little bit shorter this week, but yeah, shit happens.
Yeah, I'm tired.
Yeah, and we got a
Helmet Fire got me up early this morning.
Yeah, and we got Monday Night Football on NBC.
Or on ABC.
Yeah,
or
on
ESPN.
ABC.
Yeah.
ESPN.
Yeah. Or go to bed early.
Yeah, which is what I'm going to be doing.
Stay up long enough maybe to watch the Mandalorian thing.
Yeah.
Actually, I gotta take trash out. I got homework to do.
Yeah, I've already taken my
Feed the pigs. No, feed the hogs. That's what they say in Christmas Vacation.
Oh, okay.
Remember when he's like talking about doing the decorating?
Yeah.
Feed the hogs.
Yeah.
Bills to pay.
All right, that's the show, folks. We got to go. No after show this week because we got shit to do, and my sleepy pill's going to kick in soon. So
That was gross.
I know.
Why don't you just dip your balls in some sauce?
Dip them in your mouth.
No, I don't want that. That's not a good taste. It's not a flavor. It's a flavor explosion if you dip your balls in some Szechuan sauce. Like the Rick and Morty?
I've
Like
never
the
seen that.
Szechuan sauce?
Never seen it.
Oh my God. You need some Szechuan sauce. Just a little bit.
Yes, probably. All right, we're going to go now. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening, though. We love you all. We'll see you next week. And until then, Dave and everybody else, go fuck yourself.
Bye-bye. What? Okay, now, what do I click?
There we go. All right, bye, everybody.
Bye.